Good morning. Morning to the citizens and residents of Dominica, and of course the many volunteers and regional and international agencies present on island assisting us in our efforts post Hurricane Maria. Let me also recognize our friends who are here from the various agencies and who will present to the country updates on some of the things that we've been doing. But also say that progress is being made one day at a time. As we all know, it's a long journey back, but there are a number of things which the government is putting in place to respond to Hurricane Maria. I will address the nation on Friday evening at 7 p.m. where I will articulate a 12-point economic recovery plan for the country, at least in the short term and immediate. I had a very constructive meeting with Ross University, the president of Ross University, and senior management, and they have given us a firm commitment to remain in Dominica. As you know, Ross has been in Dominica since 1978. So Ross came in Dominica just prior to our independence, so they have been part of Dominica's political independence for our entire political sovereign statehood. And of course we're working with them to seek to get Ross to recommence classes as early as January 2018. I will be meeting with property owners by this weekend, those who provide accommodation to faculty and students and staff at Ross University, to speak to them and to find out how can we work together to ensure that those properties that were impacted by Maria, we can work together to get them operational the soonest. And I'm setting very early, mid-November, to have all properties in the Portsmouth area which provide services to us to be properly functional, because that is going to be very important in the consideration for the recommencement of classes at Ross University in January. I've also met with private sector entities, both as groups and also as individuals, speaking to them on what are their plans for recommencement of business, reconstruction of the businesses. So that is work in progress. We shall make certain commitments in terms of concessions and areas that we can work with them to ensure the speedy reopening and also the speedy reconstruction of the facilities. And some of the things will include concessions. It will also include the possibility of providing land to certain private sector entities to place their investments in a more secure location. Also, we continue to be in discussions with the World Bank. The World Bank is a major partner and will be a major partner in our reconstruction. They have committed some $65 million US so far. We're negotiating to see how close we can take it to 100, if not beyond that. And I will be meeting with them very soon to continue the negotiations with the World Bank. As you know, the government, we paid salaries for the month of September, which is an extraordinary effort on the part of the government. And I have also ensured as Minister of Finance that we keep to our legal obligations in terms of interest payments and loans for the month of September. Obviously, we will need to have further discussions with our creditors and to see where we are and how we treat with those matters in the next months and years going forward. Roads are being cleared. We have access to literally every part of the country now. At least we can drive to every part of the country. There's still lots of landslides to clear. There's still lots of debris to clear. Thousands of tons of debris to clear. We have a challenge on country with the adequate number of heavy equipment we have on island operators. So what we have done, the government has been in negotiations and discussions with operators from the region. And I'm hoping by mid next week we will have a massive fleet of heavy equipment on island to assist with the cleanup. And the intention and the strategy of the government is to is to clean from Roseau going out. So there'll be a redeployment of the existing assets in the country into the city and take from the city and go out. Another strategic point is to take from Ross University and go out into the out districts. From Douglas Charles and go out in the other districts. So we'll be redeploying the heavy equipment operators to address the strategic decision that the government has put in place. Because our main intention now is to get commercial activity taking place in the country. I have given the port instructions to put all systems in place to have the ferry terminal functional, so we do not have the persons using the ferry to be at the containerized ports, because it's a challenge there. So we need to get the ferry terminal functional before the end of this week. Douglas Charles will make an announcement on the commercial services at Douglas Charles, so we'll be informing all of the airline companies and airline agents on the opening of Douglas Charles for commercial flights, and we'll be doing the repairs to the cane field and to bring more order at cane field. We have deployed, and we're deploying additional police personnel, utilizing the presence of the regional forces here to all of the ports, including Ansdeme, including Portsmouth, including Douglas Charles, including the ferry terminal, including the Woodbridge Bay, and also customs, so that we bring some order and better functioning of all of our legal and formal ports. My message to all those who are bringing in supplies from Guadeloupe and Martinique and other islands and from small boats, please utilize the official ports. Dropping off things on the seashore, you may find yourself in some difficulties, because the rule of law is still in effect. Not because we have hurricane, but the rule of law is in effect, and we have every responsibility to protect the state. I would urge residents to continue, and citizens to continue to respect the curfew. We are still not taking this lightly. We have to ensure we respect the curfew. You have no business being out. Stay in. And we will be assessing the issue regarding the state of emergency this week, and also the curfew, because the intention is to end the curfew in some parts of the country, because we have been able to stabilize the situation in large measure. So the idea is to maybe have it reduced to certain localities rather than the entire country. But that advice will be given by the Chief of Police sometime today, who the Minister of National Security and the Attorney General are in discussions with the Chief of Police and the security advisors on this matter. One of the things we'll be implementing and we'll announce to the country in the next hours is to have the city of Roseau a pedestrian city for the time being. And the government will contract minibuses, and we shall locate minibuses down by the Crazy Coconuts at the gas station area, and also have minibuses down at the auto trade area. So you will park and ride. You will park your vehicles there. We will have buses running constantly. They will be properly marked, so you will know the buses, so you can jump on this bus. It will be free of charge. The government will pay for it, so that we minimize the number of people coming to the city. There are just too many people coming to the city. Emergency people can't get through. People who are here to assist us cannot get through. It is taking people who come to help us from Canefield Airport 3 hours to get to the financial center. And that cannot happen, and it's time sensitive, because they have to catch the flight back before 4 o'clock. And we cannot get supplies to the communities because there's just too much traffic jam. And the telecommunication services companies and also Dominica cannot get through with the heavy equipment and the personnel. So let us understand, if we want things to move much faster than they're currently moving, we all have to cooperate. And one of the best ways you can cooperate with us is by respecting the traffic situation. You have no business in town, do not come to town. Okay, and if you have business to come in town, we shall provide you with a ride free of charge. So you jump on the bus and you get into the city and you walk from one point to the other. So this is what we'll be doing, and I believe by today, tomorrow, we'll publish this, So everyone in the country will have access to that information and be properly informed of how we're going to do this. And my appeal to all of us is that please let us cooperate. You know, save yourself some money, because you know you're driving and you're utilizing your fuel. At this time, we need to save every dollar that we have. And driving around town, you know, your tire may get burst with some loose nails on the streets and so forth. Where you can get it fixed, and where you gonna get money to pay for $400 for $400 tire? So park your vehicle down Old Trade, down by industrial estate, and we'll give you a free ride into town and a free ride out of town. And you can't get anything better than that, and so on. So let's appreciate that. We move into telecommunications, and I really want to thank Flo and Digicel, who both be doing a fantastic job in pushing the envelope and to ensuring that as many communities as possible in the quickest possible time can have access to their telephones and so forth. And I was very happy to have received text messages and WhatsApp messages and BBM from my own constituency, the furthest constituency enough, from Penville. So you can imagine the pace at which these telecommunications companies are moving with providing telecommunication services. And we understand that's an important human comfort, that people can communicate with friends, both within the country and also out of the country. And that will help with minimizing the anxieties which all of us are suffering from as a result of this disaster. Our friends here who've been very, very helpful, from OCHA to USAID to World Food Program to all of you. I don't want to leave out names, but you will speak later. Really, you've been fantastic in helping us and map. We've been mapping. I've been seeing the reports at the end of the day, where we have delivered supplies, how much we've delivered, and so forth. So things are improving. There are more volunteers popping up, and as the days go by, you know, people have their homes much more settled, and their minds are much more settled, and they're coming forward to volunteer, to assist, because it is not an easy operation with the supplies. You have to get them from the port, you take them to the centers in the respective communities, you have to try to package them, and to deliver packages to 500 homes in one village is not an easy task. So we have to appreciate that there will always be inherent challenges to this. But as the days go by, I get the sense from meeting people in the communities, speaking to the authorities responsible for the delivery of supplies, that there's an improvement. What we have done is that we have set up hotlines. So if you are in any village or any community or any home or any individual or any organization or institution, you have not received supplies or adequate supplies, WhatsApp this number, text this number, they send information to those who are responsible for the delivery of supplies and other issues, and we assure you we'll get to your home, we'll get to your institution, we'll get to your family, and we'll get to your village once we have the information and so forth. We have supplies. We also, the government itself is also buying supplies, purchasing supplies from some suppliers in Barbados. A major shipment is coming in this afternoon at 12:30. So we'll continue to ensure that the country has adequate supplies to feed the people. Next week, we're gonna ensure that the farmers get back to the fields. And I will speak to that in my address on Friday. We have to go back, we have to plant cucumbers and tomatoes and lettuce and cabbage and pink beans and red beans and green beans. These things go very quickly, and you can harvest in a matter of a couple of weeks and so forth. So we want to ensure that we have adequate local supplies. There are lots of dashing in the country. The dashing survive. This is why it's important to plant root tubers, because they can survive. You know, I will be harvesting a little bit with a potato patch I have myself. You know, so what we're doing is that we're buying some of this in the communities, we're cleaning it up, and we're also delivering to families and so forth. So there are families who are eating dashing, and the families who are eating yams, and the families who are eating sweet potatoes during the course of these days and so forth. And we'll try to get some into the city, because I know in the city, in the urban areas, we love our ground provisions and so forth, especially when it comes from the countryside. So we'll ensure that the city gets some. So we'll be buying this, and the Ministry of Agriculture is trying to ascertain how many pounds of this we have and from which farmers, so that we can help the farmers with some cash, so they can use that cash to start replanting and build some economic activity and build some semblance of restoration of normalcy in our country. So let's keep the faith. Let's work together as Dominicans first, because it is our task to rebuild this country. It is our task to deal with issues relating to the hurricane. We have many friends here. Many friends here who are here with a genuine heart, a genuine spirit to help us. They're sleeping under difficult circumstances like all of us. They're not here in any fancy accommodation. They're all here under trying circumstances, difficult circumstances, working in many instances harder than most of us. So we have to redouble our efforts and our commitment to this thing. This is not a time or a period for any kind of complaint. Any kind of complaint. Zero complaint. I mean, somebody WhatsApped me about the port said to them they need to bring uniforms and they cannot put uniforms. I said, darling, you know, it's either we shut down the ports or you get uniforms, because we have to bring a sense of order into the ports and to ensure that we can identify who are security officers, who are port officers, who are customs officers, who are management at the port, so we can have a sense of order and normalcy at the airports if we're to get commercial flights and to create some economic activity in the country. We have to appreciate the challenge which the government is under. We have not earned $1 since hurricane, but we have to spend. So one can appreciate the serious fiscal challenge which the government has now and will have in the next months and indeed years. So we have to ensure that we minimize the complaint. You know, if there's some alu zinc in the road, do not wait for the government to come get it. Pick it up, put it on the side of the road. You know, do whatever you can. You have a shovel, let's get going. So once we do these things and we remain positive and committed to our flag and to our nation and our people, I believe, and with the help of the international and regional communities, I believe we can overcome this tremendous challenge. So I really want to thank you, and I look forward to speaking to the nation on Friday evening, God willing. Thank you very much. Thank you.